Alright, you might see on your screen there. Today's message I have for you is...
Say what?
Yep, loaded question. Loaded question. What is the world telling you? That's a big question. They tell us a lot of things. They really do. Some of it's true, some of it ain't. But here's the deal about it. Do you really need to be listening to it? As Paul told us right here in Ephesians. He said that I'm on 4:14 and 15, if anybody wants to follow along. He says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him all things, which is the head, even Christ. That's a pretty powerful message right there. That's what he wants us to be. He doesn't want us to, like he said, blow the wind with every change of doctrine. Ooh, this guy said this, I'm going to go with that. Wait. But next week this guy said something else, I'm going to go that way. We're not supposed to blow around in the winds of doctrine like that. We don't get caught up in that. Well, what we need to focus on is what's the truth. What is the truth? It doesn't matter what this man says or that man says. They're all deceivers. It says it right here. Right here. They lie in wait to deceive. That's what they do. So while they may tell you this is true this week, guess what? Next week they're going to say something else. Day after that they're going to say something else. An hour after that they may say something else. That's what they do. Whether they know it or not. I'm not saying that they're all intentionally deceiving, because some of them aren't. Some of them actually think they're doing good. But is it up to them to decide what good is? I'm pretty sure that's God's territory, and he ain't going to like it. He's not going to like you stepping on his turf. He gets kind of personal. Real quick. Now, this also points in a larger sense too, though, to what should our role in modern culture be? That goes two different directions that I've seen lately, and neither one of them are good. The first direction is the us against them mentality. That's what I hear all the time, especially the more, I hate to use the political term, but I don't know any other way to say it, the more conservative churches. No, all culture is bad. We don't want any part of that. We don't want no part of that. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you why that approach is right. By saying culture is bad, didn't God give man the capacity to create that? He gave us the ability to create music and art and communications. He gave us that. So it can't inherently be bad. Do people misuse it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Take one look at Facebook for 5 minutes and you'll see what I mean by misuse it. No problem. They're very good at that. But culture itself is not inherently bad. It's bad when men get involved. Because now, due to our own simple nature, you've now corrupted God's creation of culture with sin. And a lot of times they use it to further that sin. Culture isn't bad, but people do bad things with it. Now, the opposite end of that spectrum is the ones that say, you know what? We're good with it. We're just going to follow along with it. We're just going to say, okay, well, this is what society says. We're just going to go with that. Brother, sister, I hate to tell you right now, but that's a real bad trap right there. Real bad. Because now you're listening to the words of men and not the words of God. First thing you've got to look at is, does God say this is good? Then why are you doing it? If you've got some song screaming dirty words every 5 seconds, that can't be good. Come on now, we're smarter than that. I don't need to explain that to anybody here. That's why you can't just blindly follow them either. When it comes to culture, you've got to strike that middle ground. You got to strike that middle ground. It's not bad. And in fact, it can be used for a lot of good. Just like I just said with social media, Facebook specifically. You may have noticed we're on Facebook Live. It can be used for good. If you're spreading good, positive things of God. Now, same goes for music. There's a lot of amazing Christian artists out there of every style. So music isn't bad. Art isn't bad. And dare I say it, I'm going to go there. Politics isn't bad. Except when there's sin involved. Then it becomes a bad thing. It becomes a bad thing. So we don't need to totally distance ourselves from culture and say that's all evil, because that's not true. God gave us the ability to create it, so it can't be evil. Because now you're telling me God's evil. And I ain't buying that. I don't think any of us here are buying that. And if you do, we're going to have a serious conversation, and like I said, I won't worry about it. Now, the opposite perspective of that is to say that it's all good, and that ain't true either. Because God says that we have a sinful nature. We have a sinful nature. So everything that man creates can't be a good thing. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Because again, sin gets involved. Bad things get involved. People use it wrong. Go the wrong way about it. Now, just kind of touching back on this political thing again, should the church be involved in politics? Well, that depends on your definition of involved. Now, if I'm standing here telling you who to vote for, I'm wrong. I am flat out wrong. That is misuse of the position God has given me, and I will never do that. Now, certain issues may or may not be wrong, but here's the thing. Are you looking at it from man's perspective or from a biblical perspective? That's where we get lost. That's where we get lost. Oh, this is evil. Yes, but does God say it's evil? Well, no, this is right. But does God say it's right? So, to me, our role in that is to be the voice of reason, the middle ground, if you would. To say that, okay, I see what you're doing, but maybe that's not a good thing. Be that voice of reason. That's what we do. God gave us wisdom in Him to share with the world. And that's one platform by which we can do that. I'm sure a lot disagree with me, and you're welcome to do that. You know what? I'm not the type that's going to bother me. People disagree all the time. All the time. I'm fine with that. So, those of you who are watching on Facebook, well, send me hate mail, songs, and stuff on the website, go right ahead. First thing we need to do is turn them off. But that's, I don't want to hear that. And I don't think anybody needs to listen to that and all this. It's not appropriate, it's not what God made it for. When you get now, at the same time, should you turn off all music? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, I hate to say this, but if we did that, we wouldn't have a worship service. So that could be a problem. Can't do that. But again, you got to find the middle ground. You got to say that, okay, I'm good with this because this makes me feel better. It's got a good perspective to it, and I like it. Okay, fine. But if it's making you say bad things, think bad things, do bad things, get rid of it. It's out of here. Out of here. Cut it off. Cut it off. So no, we're not against culture of any kind. Be it political, musical, artistic. It's not in any way bad. We're not against it. We're against misuse of it. The misuse of it. That's what we're against. So, I find it kind of bemusing when the world tends to tell you, well, okay, you should do this. Okay, says you. But that's not what this says. So, you have fun with that. I'm going to be over here doing this. Because that's the right way to do it. That's how we do it. Don't get in arguments with people over it. It's not worth it. If they want to listen to bad things or watch bad things or say bad things, hey, your problem. Am I going to tell you it's right? Absolutely not. In fact, I'm probably going to tell you it's wrong.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's your decision. God gave us all free will, so be it. So be it. But the world has this real bad habit of coming at us. And it keeps coming. And it keeps coming. And it keeps coming. And just constantly bombarded every second, every minute, every day. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So when the world does that, here's my question. What are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Well, again, we have two approaches. You can do nothing. But I once heard it said that all that's required for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Well, you know, I'm not the do nothing kind. That is just not the spirit God gave me. If I see something that ain't right, chances are I'm going to call it out. That's kind of what I do. But I'm not going to argue with you. It's your life. You take it up with God. That's between you and Him. But don't expect me to tell you it's okay. It's not going to happen. Will not happen. So, just a couple chapters later, right here in Ephesians, we were told exactly what to do about that. Yeah. And in great detail. I'm in Ephesians 6, 11 and 13, if anyone wants to follow along. If not, it's on the screen. It says, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And that's what we have right now, the wiles of the devil. Yeah. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Sound familiar, people? High places. We're not just talking about your average Joe on the street here. In high places. You take that to mean whatever you want, but to me it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. There's corruption everywhere. There's corruption everywhere. We're not supposed to just sit there and take it either. We're supposed to fight it, but He has specific instructions on how we fight it. It says right here, verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Right there on that screen. That's it, right there. You do what you can. You take on the armor of God. You make sure you're coming from a righteous, biblical perspective before you say a word, because if you're not, then you're in the wrong. You are in the wrong. You're not coming from a biblical perspective. Second of all, you don't come out from a perspective of hate. No. Oh, these people disagree with me, then I hate that. I hate that. No. You got to come at it from a perspective of love. You got to come at it saying, look, brother, I love you, and I don't want to see you do it wrong. That's how you approach it. That's how you make that stand. Do it from a perspective of love. Yeah. So while we don't hate anybody, we're not against anybody, but we also got to draw that line. Got to draw that line, not have that tolerance. That's a big word around right now. Tolerance. Big word. Oh, we're supposed to have tolerance of everybody. Okay, that's great. Hey, you know what? I do. I love everybody. Amen, sister. Dead on the money right there. Amen. I love you, but I don't like your behavior. I can't agree with what you're doing. I love you anyway. You can be my friend. That's awesome. I got lots of friends. But don't expect me to tell you it's right. Because that's never going to happen. Don't expect me to accept it. It's never going to happen. It's the way I see it. We're from two different sides. There's God's side and there's the wrong side. So which one each one? Now, I'm not going to come at you and tell you you're going to hell. God will do that. Not my place to say so. But I am going to tell you you're wrong. Because that's what it is. That's what it So I'm not ready to take that stand. But before you take that stand, right there it says, having done all. Have you really done all? Ooh, big question. Nobody likes that one. Have you really done all? Did you just sit back and watch it happen? Then you didn't do all. Did you respond with hate and anger and fear? Then you didn't do all. You didn't, because that's not the right way. And you better make sure you're standing on that sound biblical principle with that whole armor of God. And that's what I got on that one.